Good evening. I'm going to be your host for today's video. In the video that you have clicked upon, we're going to be telling you 3 of the most haunted, scary Chuck E. Cheese stories that we have found on the dark web. And if you're brave enough to watch throughout the whole video and not click off, then like this video right now. Let's try to get to 30,000 likes. Check if that number's at 30,000 likes, and if it's not, then you make it happen. Also, thank you guys for leaving all of these amazing comments on all these previous videos that we have posted about Chuck E. Cheese. So if you guys want a shout out on the next video, leave something about Chuck E. Cheese or something that we don't know about, and we'll shout you on the next video. So congratulations to all these winners who did leave amazing comments. And without further ado, let's just jump right into the first scary Chuck E. Cheese story. That is, if you're brave enough. There was once a Chuck E. Cheese in my town. It was always fun to pass by and see the kids, the parents, and the parties. But one day it was closed, never to be reopened, all because of me. Me and my best friend Ralph loved Chuck E. Cheese with all of our hearts. Every Wednesday our parents would generously give us $10 of tokens so we could go play by ourselves after school. We were in 6th grade now. Schoolmates would make fun of us for our obsession, but we didn't care. We were grateful to get our tokens each week. Today was different though. We had hatched a genius plan. I had told my mom I was sleeping at Ralph's, and Ralph had told his mom he was sleeping over at my house. We were on a mission to stay overnight at Chuck E. Cheese. We chose the ball pit as our hiding spot, so when it was about 5 minutes to closing, we each made sure no one was looking, and then ducked our heads beneath the multicolored balls. The announcement that they were closing came, then the lights turned off one by one. We breathed as quietly as possible and tried to stifle our giggles about how we were actually getting away with this. The employees cleaned up for what seemed like an eternity, but after 20 minutes had gone by since we had heard any voices or the door close, we erupted out of the ball pit with such force and excitement that the balls flew over the net and across the room. "Luke, we did it!" Ralph screamed in absolute joy. All of the lights were off except for the stage, where we could clearly see Munch's make-believe band looking excited as ever. We walked around the room filled with dark screens, wondering what to do next. Everything seemed normal at first, until it wasn't. I had been staring at Helen up on the stage for just a moment when I turned around and Ralph was nowhere to be found. "Ralph!" I called out. No answer. He must have gone to the bathroom, I thought to myself. I waited 5 long minutes. The more I stared at Chucky, the more I saw his grin widen. I have to be imagining this, I thought. My heart began racing. "Ralph!" I called out as I walked backwards toward the bathroom. Suddenly, not wanting to take my eyes off Chucky, to my horror, there was no answer again. I finally let my eyes slip away from Chuck. As I ran into the boys' room hoping to see Ralph, I looked under each stall, nothing. I began hyperventilating, and I ran back into the dimly lit room. My heart fell to the floor as I noticed something missing. All of the animatronics were up there, except Chucky. "Ralph!" I screamed out at the top of my lungs now, absolutely terrified. Suddenly, I heard a soft cry coming out of the ball pit. There was Ralph's hand, desperately reaching out of the pit as if he was drowning. But before I could reach him, he was pulled down underneath completely, where he shrieked like I've never heard anyone shriek before. "Ralph!" I yelled, ready to jump in, but it was too late. Slowly, a substance began leaking from the pit and overflowing all over the balls. It was blood. Out of my peripheral vision, I saw Chuck. He was smiling by the soda fountain, a huge knife in his hands. He raised his hand up and waved at me.
Are you having fun, Luke?
He said with a huge laugh. With my adrenaline taking hold of me, I sprinted for the door, knowing it was locked and I knew I needed something to break the glass.
Come on, I just want to play.
I heard Chuck's voice say as he traveled closer. Thankfully, I saw a chair that had been placed near the door, left by a night shift employee. I grabbed it and I hit the glass as hard as possible. It cracked, but it didn't break, only causing an alarm to go off. Ah! I screamed out of frustration. I hit it 2 more times before it broke. Without hesitation, I leaped out the hole, cutting my arms and legs as I did. I was halfway through the parking lot before I looked back. Chuck stood there looking through the window and waved one last farewell with the hand, but not his hand, Ralph's.
Wow, guys, that was truly horrific. If you guys made it through that story, comment down below and let us know how many stories you can make it through. This next one is even worse than the last, so try not to have a panic attack. Chuck E. Cheese Pizza. It holds a nostalgic place in many of our hearts. It used to do the same for me. But what if I told you I had an experience with the pizza that was so disgusting and traumatic, it would make you never want a slice again? I went on my cousin's birthday. She was turning 8, so she was bright-eyed and excited. Meanwhile, I wasn't looking forward to the screaming kids and the stinky feet smell, but at least I got free pizza out of it. I sat down with my mom as we waited for the server to bring the pie to us. It was a special new type of pizza I'd never heard of. It had been added to the menu just today, I guess. It was called the Lori Special. They told us that it was a limited time special and it had extra cheese, sauce, and delicious mystery toppings. At the time, the element of mystery was exciting and we had our mouths watering. I hope it's extra sausage, I said to my mom excitedly. Come on, bacon would be better, she said playfully. After about 20 minutes, the first strange thing happened. Instead of a regular employee coming to give us the pizza, Chucky came out. All the kids ran up to him excitedly, expecting to be greeted with a dance or a ticket splash. Instead, he ignored them and silently, without a word, plopped the pizza in front of us. My mother kindly said thank you to him to break the awkward silence, but he still remained silent, staring at us with his big eyes, until he abruptly ran back to the kitchen. We were puzzled, but hungry enough to ignore the weird encounter and the strange smell coming from the pizza, which was covered in pepperoni, sausage, bacon, and one last meat I couldn't identify. I picked up a piece and hesitantly took a bite. I instantly felt like vomiting. The sauce tasted like pennies and the cheese tasted like it was expired. But worst of all, I had bitten into a hard chunk of the mystery meat. I spat the meat chunks out onto my plate, only to be mortified by what I saw. A human fingertip. My mother screamed at the top of her lungs, "I'm calling the police!" The whole restaurant erupted in a confused panic. The manager came out confused and distraught and helped my mom dial the police. It was all a blur. All I could think about was the Chucky and how he stared at us as I sunk my teeth into the flesh. The cops said a girl named Lori had gone missing about a week ago. And it all came back to me. The Lori Special. None of this was supposed to be going on. Till this day, every time I hear the name Chuck E. Cheese, I vomit.
I know. I told you, we warned you guys. It is very scary. And imagine, we're living this in real life. Come here, look where we're at right now. We're at the abandoned Chuck E. Cheese location, and it's 3 in the morning, and we're telling you these stories here. Okay, so we're living this. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Completely abandoned. Right in front of us, we could see the stage where all of the animatronics, and that door is just right there with the lights on. We have no idea why that door is open. Imagine being here in person, you know? It's just, it gets creepy. And if you thought those last 2 stories were scary, this one, you're never gonna watch another video like this ever again. When I was little, I had an intense fear of Chucky from Chuck E. Cheese. I couldn't bear looking at him for even a second on a commercial. I would run and scream, hiding under the nearest blanket. My mom would always laugh at this and tell me I forget about my fear when I grew up. But for me, it was different. It was more than just him looking creepy. Chucky came to me in every dream, every night, appearing in his animatronic form, looking sickly and hungry, with blood dripping out of his mouth. Every night, like clockwork, he would peek his head out of my closet and slowly come towards me as I was too paralyzed with fear to move.
I sure am hungry,
he'd said with his furry hand finally grasping my arm and moved it towards my mouth. And right as he was about to pierce my skin with his ugly, yellow rat teeth, I'd awaken. It got to the point where I would purposely stay awake all night just so I wouldn't have to see him. I became so delusional that I began wondering if he truly was in my dreams or in reality. I was turning 12 in just a few days. I found myself being excited to open up gifts. It was something to take my mind off Chucky. My mom told me that she had a very special surprise for me on my birthday. I found myself getting excited, and the next 2 days, until finally at midnight, it was my special day. At 10 a.m., I ran down the stairs ready for whatever surprise my mom might have had for me. She told me to come with her in the car and to cover my eyes until we got to my surprise. I obeyed her and squeezed my hands tightly over my face. I felt the car finally slowing down, and she said, "We're here, sweetie." I eagerly took my hands away, and when I did, my heart stopped, dead in its tracks. I was looking right at a huge Chuck E. Cheese. The sign out in front glowed devilishly, and I screamed involuntarily. "Ah!" "What's wrong, honey?" she said with a laugh. "Aren't you over your little fear?" she said, but she didn't say it in her voice. It was someone else's voice, a much deeper, much angrier voice. She grabbed me by my shirt collar and dragged me inside. All the employees had horrible smiling faces that were twisting devilishly. They clapped as my mother brought me closer to Chucky animatronic. "Help me!" I screamed to no avail. At last, I was in front of the rat himself. His eyes glowed red, and his mouth opened wide with the sharp yellow teeth I had seen in my dreams. "This can't be real!" I cried out, but it was too late. This time when he grabbed my arm, his teeth actually met my skin. I screamed out in pain for 5 minutes straight until I finally died. But don't worry, these days I'm doing just fine. I live here with a lot of other kids, and all we do is have fun. Actually, I think there's a new member of our family joining us today. I really hope so. I'll be watching from Chucky's eyes all day. Who knows? Maybe it might even be you.
Wow. You made it all throughout the whole video and listened to all 3 scary Chuck E. Cheese stories. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud. You guys are very brave, man. I love that. Comment down below #MVP so I can know that you watched all 3 of the scary Chuck E. Cheese stories, man. You guys are freaking awesome. Like I said, if you did enjoy this video, like the video, guys. Let's try to get to 30,000 likes. It helps so much. Leave a comment down below so you get shouted out on the next video. And if you could kindly subscribe to our channel, it helps. We're getting close to 1 million subscribers, so it will mean the world. But thank you guys so much. I'm proud of you guys who stayed to the end. You guys are brave. The next one, it won't be all candy and rainbows. It's gonna be worse. Keep an eye out. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Hey guys, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click that thumbs up button. It really does help push the video out there. Also, comment and share this video. And of course, subscribe. Thank you guys.